Just wanted to let you or bring you up to date on something that I'm doing today. I'm installing an EMS onto our RV. It's been a device that we purchased back when we first got the RV, and I've been waiting for some warmer weather to get it installed and the time as well. Today is that day, so that's what I'm going to do. Just to give you an idea, there's a couple of different types of EMS systems. Some have surge, some have voltage monitoring. Ours that we purchased has both. It's about 200 and roughly $79 brand new from the dealer. It was a little bit on the expensive side, but we feel that it's well worth protecting the equipment that we have. Air conditioners, especially, and any appliances that you have in your RV are susceptible to voltage surges. And it may not, excuse me, it may not seem intuitive, but devices are actually also susceptible to low voltage conditions, which increase the current that the device draws and can damage them. So that's one thing that you want to be able to protect your RV from. The device that we bought is what's called the Watchdog. Here's a picture of it. And it is installed in line with your power that you connect to the pole. I'm going to go through and do that installation. I had to buy another piece of wire, 8/4 for 50 amp service. Our 50 amp service is connected directly into our transfer switch right now. So what I need to do is I need to insert our device in between the transfer switch and the power cord for shore power, and I'll be doing that. I bought a 10-foot length of 8/4, and that length of cable is a little bit longer than what we needed, but you never know when you might need a little bit extra, so I'll be cutting that down to just a couple feet. I'll be mounting the EMS on into the power compartment. The power compartment is right behind me. It's kind of hard to see at the moment, I'm sure. This is the power compartment. The silver box right there is the transfer switch. The black cable coming out of it is the shore power, and the gray cable going into it is the generator. The transfer switch, essentially its only purpose is to switch between those two. The black cable is the shore power. Right now we have it connected to our house electrical system, so it's only 115. That's really all we need when we're parked at our home. That keeps the refrigerator running. If it's cold out, then we can also run if we run a heater on the inside to keep it above freezing, and then we run another power cord out to the wet bay to provide power to another heater that runs in there to keep our tanks and water pipes all warm in there. But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to disconnect the power. I'll have to open the transfer switch right here. I'll have to take this off. Looks to be only really one screw. I'll have to disconnect this cable right here, and that will then feed into the EMS. And then I will take my other cable that I'll be cutting down to a 2-foot length. I'll be mounting the EMS system somewhere in this location here. There's a nice open spot there, right between the light and there. It should be big enough for it to fit. And then I'll be connecting this back up into this black cable, back up into the EMS, and then the short length between the EMS and the transfer switch. Here's the EMS, the Power Watchdog plus EPO. It does have some really cool features. Once it's all connected, you can actually connect, there's an app for it that you can get from the App Store or the Google Play, and you can connect it to your phone and you can monitor all kinds of things. There's a picture of a phone here and the different types of things that you can monitor. I know you can monitor current, you can monitor voltage, and some other things. Anyways, here's the actual unit. It's a Hughes. Ours is a 50 amp. They do make a 30 amp model. Some mounting hardware. Some more mounting hardware. Looks like maybe for, not sure what that's for. And then the actual unit here. Isn't that huge? There isn't that big. Not sure, but it looks like it mounts from the back. So I might have to drill some holes in my compartment in order to get that mounted. I was hoping that that wouldn't be the case, but that, yeah, looks like that's definitely the case. Gonna have to mount it that way. That's probably what these 4 screws are here for, maybe. Oh, there we go. Okay, so looks like there is a mounting plate here that you can use to mount it to, yeah, you could probably mount these somehow like this. Yeah, so they mount like this, and then these mount to that. So for first you attach these probably with these 4 screws here, and then you use these to connect to or mount it up to the inside of the compartment. And we got a nice manual here. Looks like a nice manual anyway. Plastic. Has some, it's like how to install the brackets. Step 2, how to install the unit in the compartment. Okay, so looks pretty straightforward. And that's what I'll be doing. So I want to see how this is going to look in here. Even though they show it mounted this way, I'm thinking about mounting it this way so that the cables don't interfere with anything. We'll see how that works. Okay, so I got the mounting bars on it. Let's see what this looks like. Probably mount it like this. That's probably the way I'm going to mount it now. So I don't need a very long piece of cable. I got this nice 10-foot length of 8/4. It's much smaller than what I got here. I think the RV dealership, or the RV manufacturer, they probably buy the cheapest that they can, and I don't know why, but I guess the cheapest, or maybe it's the best, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to use this 8/4 between. This is rated at the correct amperage. So you have an inside and an outside. This is inside, this is out. So probably like this. I could mount it up here too, but that means I would have to drill into the floor. I'm not real crazy about drilling into the floor. Or I could mount it over on this side. If you can see this, that actually might be a better choice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can see this. Let me check the camera real quick and see if you can see that. Put a little light on the subject. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it right here on this side. I think that makes the most sense to me. It brings the cable, gives me another extra foot, actually two feet at least. Yeah, I think I'll be mounting it right here. Going to be the out. That's going to be the perfect. So I have the power disconnected now. Don't want to work on anything electric with power on. And I got the transfer box open, and as you can see, there are actually 4 wires coming in. You have the green ground, then you have the black. Oh, let me switch. You have the black and the white and the red. I think the white is neutral, and then the black and the red are the hots. Don't know, doesn't really matter. Just so long as when I wire this guy back up, which I need to still trim back, you'll see a red, a black, a white, and a green wire in there. As long as I wire those all up the same as what's in the transfer box, and then connect them on the box here. This is the out, and this is the in. And you have L1, L2 neutral, which should be white, and the ground, which should be green. All I got to do is make sure that L1 and L2 are the right colors going all the way through, and that they are, I'm pretty sure there's a diagram in here. I haven't quite looked at that part yet. There should be a diagram in here showing exactly how to connect those wires and what colors they are. Let's see. Getting some wind here. Well, this isn't much help as far as colors and everything. Let's see. Might have to do a little bit of research. Okay, so you guys don't need to see that. Here we go. So on the the wind is not cooperating. So it tells you which ones are which. Looks like the white is the neutral, which is what I expected. And then that's the 30 amp, I think. Looks like a 30 amp. Yeah, it's 30 amps. 50 amp. Okay, so it shows you how it's connected. The green ground, which is this one right there. You can see it in the center of the screen. And then white, and then red. So green. Well, you get the picture. I'm dealing with too much wind here, so I'm going to put everything back in here so that it doesn't get scattered across the yard. I got the wire stripped back. This is going into the transfer switch. I haven't yet cut the other end. I think that I'm going to mount the Watchdog down on the bottom of the compartment. I was originally thinking about mounting it up here on the side between the light and there, and then I thought, well, let's mount it over here. If I can get the camera to turn on the side, which is very close to the side or that the shore power goes through. But I think this one is a little better. This side over here, this is the in, that's the out. Also on the side is all the different codes, which could come in very handy when trying to diagnose a shore power problem. Very important to know what those are. Of course, you can probably look at them in the app, but if you're out here connecting power, you want to know right away if there's any problems. And that code that's you see on the side with the chart is actually displayed on that display right there. We'll probably see that a little bit later. Okay, so I got 4 wires disconnected here. I got the green wire, the red, white, and black wires all disconnected from the terminal. I had to use a ball Allen to pull it out. Looks like I need to loosen that up a little bit more. And try to hold this and the camera at the same time, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. It's really hard to gauge exactly how much to loosen it. Pull it out. Yep, that was it. Now I'm going to keep this. Just lay it down here for right now, and put our new one in. I'm just going to feed the wires in. Now, I don't really care that they might be a little bit too long right now, because I am going to cut those down, but I do want to make sure that the casing is all inside of the transfer switch. There is going to be a little bit of exposed insulated wiring with the EMS, but there are things that I can do to help protect it. Just tighten that down, tighten this one down. There should be enough strain relief. This wire is considerably smaller than the other one that was in here, so it's taking a little bit more to turn it in and get it tight. I might have to get another strain relief fitting to fit this cable. I didn't realize that there was going to be such a size difference. And that's tighten as much as it can tighten right there. Let's do the other side, and hopefully that'll be enough to provide some relief, so if this gets tugged on, yeah, that's definitely tight. So all I got to do now on this part is to connect the wires back up I'll have to strip them back a little bit, probably cut them to size so that they fit in there just perfectly, and make sure that they are on the right terminals, because you don't want them, cross terminals L1, L2. That can cause severe problems in your RV if you do that. Don't recommend it. Now, I was able to cut the sheath around the cable, but cutting the actual wires in here, the set of wire cutters that I was trying to use wasn't quite big enough, and I don't really have a honking big set of wire cutters. But I do have this nice set of bolt cutters. They're a bit rusty, but the blade's nice and sharp, so I'm going to try that and see what happens. Okay, let's get that over here, and I'll just do this. I don't know if you can see that. Hope you can. Well, that went through the first couple wires, no problem whatsoever. Let's try the other ones. Do that. And one last wire. Well, actually, it looks like just maybe wire. Yeah, I think it's just paper. But cuts through it just perfect. So if you have a pair of bolt cutters and you need to cut something big and thick like this, they're pretty good in a pinch. So now I have the insulation stripped back, and I just need to take a little bit off, probably about that much or so it'll fit into the terminal hole on the EMS, the Watchdog, and we should be about ready. The way I determined how much to cut back was I took about half of the length, or a little bit over 3/4 of the length, so that I could split the wires and spread them and make them not too long, so that I can, I don't know, I'm gonna have to put something around there. I am not a great electrician. I do have an electronics background, but electricians have a different knowledge base once you get past the basics, and so that's what I need to figure out, how to do that. So I have some old wire strippers. They're probably not the best types of wire strippers to use in this case. Unfortunately, the highest, or the largest wire size they go up to is 10. This is an 8 gauge, so it won't work. Well, not fully like you would think it would. But anyways, I'm still going to use the 10 to see if I can't get the sheathing off, and I'll just have to be extremely careful when doing that. Okay, so now I have both sides connected. I have the input coming there, and I have the output there. You'll notice that the green matches the green, the red matches the red, and the white matches the white, and the black matches the black. Very important that they all match. The only thing I have left to do is to trim up a little bit, strip back some wiring, and connect up my transfer switch, and button everything back up and plug it in. Okay, everything is now connected. We have the red, white, and the black, and then the green ground connected. The red and the black are the L1 and L2. I don't know about respectively. And the white is the neutral. Gonna be connecting the box back up, or put the box cover back on here in just a few moments, and we will see, give our first plug-in test and see what happens. We only have 115 here, so we won't be able to test the full 50 amp. But if everything goes right, we should get a green dog. and that green dog indicates that everything is a-okay. Hopefully you can see me, but maybe not. I'll probably be huge on screen. Here's the EMS, the Watchdog, the Power Watchdog. I'm going to plug it in and we're going to see if it lights green. I'm fairly confident that it will, but you know, things don't always go the way you want them to the first time, so we'll see. Here we go. Oh. So I got the end of the plug. Here's the 115 outlet. We're going to plug it in and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so it's powering up. I heard a relay. I guess that means that everything worked all right. I thought it was going to be green. Sorry. The one outside also lights up like this, from what I remember, and it can become an attraction to those that might be wandering around at night. And when they see this, they know that this is a really expensive item. They do come with a plug-in one that you can plug in at the power pole. It is less expensive than this one here that you have to mount inside, and it also costs a little bit of money if you want somebody else to mount it as well. Somewhere probably in the tune to $150 to $300 or more, depending on their hourly rates. I would recommend that if you don't feel comfortable installing one in your RV, then that you get one that you can just plug into the pole, or you have somebody professional install it for you. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I just know electronics, and I've been exposed to electricity and wiring in houses, so I have a fairly decent understanding of what's happening here. Basically, we're just taking two phases of 240 volts and we're splitting it up with a neutral into two 125 volt lines that each can supply about 25 amps, and that's how they come up with the 50 amps. Anyway, we'll be going over the app here in a little bit, and I'm going to most likely wait for another day to do that, and we will see you then. Wanted to show you that I have actually mounted the Watchdog, Power Watchdog, down to the bottom of the compartment. Now, one of the things that I still need to do is I need to take this right here, and I'm going to bring it back over into this area here and wrap it around this corner here, and I'm going to mount some cable strain release in here and in here to take away the potential possibility of pulling out those cables, because the only thing that's holding this cable right now in place is those 4 screws for each, 1 screw for each wire. So I need to do that, and I'm going to do that before our big trip. I finished up my Power Watchdog EMS installation, and this is what the final looks like. Try to get a little bit closer, a little bit of light on the subject. I ended up mounting a strain relief right here about in the middle to help keep that cable back over against the wall so that it doesn't pop out and gets caught on something and snag and, you know, damage the cable connections down here. I also installed multiple string cable management on the big power cord. I've got it all as neatly as possible wrapped up. There is no cable management here, so it's just my muscle that makes that happen. Each one of those black mounting is screwed into the metal wall, This one over here is actually screwed into the frame that's behind this wall. I put double zip ties on each one of these, except for the last one, to give it extra strength and resilience and durability. I want to make sure that it's not going to pop out of there, and if it does, that there's going to be extra straps there to help keep this cable end from popping out and doing any type of electrical damage. Anyway, that's the final part of the installation. The compartment looks much neater than what it did when I was working on it. Cable was just kind of all wrapped up in there. They're every way. It looked like spaghetti and everything. Just wrapped up the cable and made it look a lot neater. And hopefully each time that we stop, I'll be able to keep it that way. But it's a beast. It's really, really thick cable. I don't know if you could see it, but it's at least an inch and a quarter thick. I don't know about the diameter, but it's big, and it is very cumbersome. Unlike this wire over here, which was very soft and pliable, I would much rather have a power cable for my shore power that was like this one, but I don't feel like paying however much per foot that it costs to replace this one. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you learned something, and maybe you would feel a little bit more confident in doing your own installation. I still recommend that if you do not feel comfortable doing this, that you either hire a professional or you get the EMS that plugs into the power pole. Later. Find out something here. We are on 30 amp, and the Watchdog is saying everything is a-okay. And just bring up a little bit on the phone. Let's see. So right now, I don't know if you can see it, this is probably the first time we've shown this, is that we are drawing about 687 watts. Since this counter was started, we have drawn 3.4 kilowatts. And you can see line 1 is at 121 volts, and line 2 is at 121 volts. We're drawing about 9.1 amps on line 1 and 0.1 amps on line 2, which is about right. We got the fan going, we got the refrigerator going. Refrigerator is a 12 volt, but it will be working off of the AC right now. We don't have the air conditioner running, so I'm not sure why we're seeing so many watts being drawn, but I'm not terribly concerned about it. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up to you.